The early period. Origin of the city. Uniquely among Italy's chief cities, Venice came into being after the fall of the Roman Empire in the west. The Lombard hordes, whose incursions into northern Italy began in at 568, drove great numbers of mainlanders onto the islands of the lagoon, previously the homes of itinerant fishermen and salt workers. The isolated communities, literally islands of Veneto-Byzantine civilization, became part of the exarchate of Ravenna when it was created in 584. When the mainland Byzantine city of Oderzo fell to the Lombards in 641, political authority was shifted to one of the islands in the Venetian lagoon. The first elected doge, or duke, was also chosen in an anti-Byzantine military declaration in 727, but he was succeeded by Byzantine officials until about 751, when the exarchate of Ravenna came to an end. There followed decades of internal political strife among various settlements vying for supremacy and between pro- and anti-Byzantine factions. Also involved were attempts by church authorities to acquire temporal influence. Finally, the doge Obelerio and his brother Beato formed an alliance with the Franks of Italy and placed Venice under the authority of the Italian king Pippin, died 810, in order to free themselves from Byzantine control. Pro-Byzantine reaction to this event under the doges of the Patriciaco family led to the transfer of the seat of government to the Rialto group of islands, by then the center for exiles in the factional fighting. Though a Franco-Byzantine treaty of 814 guaranteed to Venice political and juridical independence from the rule of the Western Empire, it did not confirm any effective dependence on the Byzantine Empire, and by 840 to 841 the Doge was negotiating international agreements in his own name. The unusual legal and political position of the small independent duchy, situated in territorial isolation between two great empires, contributed greatly to its function as a trading intermediary. A long succession of serious disputes between leading families concerning the office of Doge did not halt the rapid development of trade. Increase in private wealth led to the gradual achievement of internal stability by creating a broader ruling class that was capable of putting a limit to the power of the Doge. Gradually a national consciousness developed. Beginning in the late 9th century, the Doges were chosen by popular election, though the right was frequently abused during times of civil strife. Finally, the group of Rialto Islands was solemnly transformed into the city of Venice, Civitas Venetiarum. The New Order. The final collapse of family faction rule led to a change in the system of government, inaugurated by Doge Domenico Flabanico, 1032–42. He restored to the people the sovereign right to elect the Doge, but the term populace was in practice restricted to the residents of the Rialto and, more narrowly, to a select group of nobles. The executive organ was the ducal curia, and the legislative assembly was summoned to approve the Doge's acts. A new church was built for Saint Mark, symbol of the Venetian spirit, under Doge Domenico Contarini, 1043–70, an energetic defender of the religious independence of the duchy. Growth of trade and power. In the conflict between papacy and empire, Contarini and his successors remained neutral, despite the complaints of Pope Gregory VII. while safeguarding Venetian economic interests in the Adriatic when the conflict began to be reflected on the Dalmatian coast. But the greatest danger to Venetian interests was the 11th century Norman expansion under Robert Guiscard, which threatened to cut Venetian communications to the south. The successful action taken against the Normans by Doge Domenico Selvo and his successor Vittorio Falia helped to assure Venetian freedom on the Mediterranean Sea. Relations with the Byzantine Empire. In gratitude for Venetian aid against the Normans, the Byzantine Emperor Alexius I Comnenus granted Venice unrestricted trade throughout the Byzantine Empire, with no customs dues, a privilege that marked the beginning of Venetian activity in the East, 1082. The Adriatic was not yet secured, however. Dalmatian ports were threatened by the Hungarians and Slavs, with whom it was difficult to come to agreement. Toward the end of the 11th century, the Crusades focused the newly awakened trading interests of the West on the Mediterranean. At first, Venice was chiefly concerned with gaining control of the European trading ports of the Byzantine Empire, leaving to private interests the commercial opportunities in Syria and Asia Minor. Although they had been the first to win trade concessions and a commercial quarter in Constantinople, the Venetians antagonized the Byzantines by their arrogance and lawlessness, as well as by their superior enterprise. In helping the Emperor Manuel I Comnenus drive the Normans out of Corfu, 1147–49, they offended him by their aggressive behavior. Soon the mutual dislike between Venetians and Byzantines ripened into hatred. The emperor encouraged merchants from the Italian republics of Genoa and Pisa to compete in Byzantine markets, and the Venetians responded by destroying the establishments of their rivals. In 1171, to maintain order in his dominions, the emperor arrested all Venetian residents in Constantinople and the provinces and confiscated their goods.